Good morning, everybody. How are you? Happy Friday. We made it to the end of the week, so I hope that you're well. I hope that you're well in your work and your studies or whatever it is that keeps you busy during the week because it's Friday, and usually Friday is a day of celebration because we get the next 2 days off, although I know some people do work different schedules and all that. But I'm glad that I'm here. I'm glad that I'm able to spend this time with you, and I hope that you're doing well and you're safe with you and your families in your part of the world. So for those of you that are new, we always start off with our global roll call. Please let me know your city, state, province, country, all that good stuff. Let me know where you're watching from, what if anything else you want to share. If you want to tell us you're a student, you're a worker, you're just curious about data science or where you are in your journey, you're welcome to tell us whatever you feel comfortable sharing. After that, I will sometimes give an opening note, sometimes not. It just depends. And then I'm open to your questions. I'm open to anything that we can help you with, that either I or the community can help you with in terms of projects, careers, ideas, whatever you'd like to talk about. We're basically here for you and just kind of here to see where the conversation takes us. So let me just make one more adjustment. I want to make sure that I tell my Instagram people that they can introduce themselves. Give me just a second, but I'm already seeing people dropping messages, so that's wonderful. So go ahead and start filling up my chat. Okay, I have that. And let me know. Excuse me, sorry about that. I had a sneeze out of nowhere. Yeah, let me know where you're from, and we'll go from there. And I'll take your questions after we do the introductions. Yesterday, I had a really nice day after the stream. Finished my stream, and then I went out walking. Took a little bit of a short walk because one of my muscles in my legs wasn't feeling so great. Might take an off day today. Spent some time with my dog, spent some time working on things for my channel, things for my business. Really the biggest thing on my mind right now is is next week. Because next week, sometime around Tuesday, Wednesday, maybe Thursday, we are gonna reach 100,000 followers on YouTube, which is amazing. Less than 1% of all YouTube channels reach that. So that's pretty mind-boggling to think that I'm gonna be passing that milestone. As I said before in other pieces of content, I thought 400 followers in a year would have been a great result. So yeah, it's been crazy. It's been crazy. But look out for that announcement sometime soon because I'm going to be doing a 12-hour stream ahead of time to build up to it, and that way everybody can participate. It'll just be a long AMA stream. I'm also working on a little bit of a special video to show you guys the journey that I followed to get here, because I'd like to think it's a little bit of a unique journey. And then you guys can come and go as you want during the stream and ask questions or do whatever you'd like. We're just going to keep it casual, keep it fun, keep it conversational, and kind of go from there. Okay, so look out for those types of announcements coming in next week. So again, if you're just joining us, please let us know your city, state, province, country, and we'll see where the conversation leads us. Okay, and if I can help you with something, let me know. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and start and look at some of my comments. Batanzar, I think it's Batanzar from India. Guys, you can't just tell me India. Come on, India is a huge country. You're doing a disservice to your own city, your own province when you just say India. There's so much more to India. So let us know a little bit more about Batanzar. But thanks for being here. I think it's your first time here, so thank you. I'm going to get to your question as soon as I do the introductions, okay? Starry Vibes, our good friend Starry Vibes says, hello, sir. I hope you're doing well. I'm doing very well. Thank you so much. Yeah, it's going to be a beautiful day out where I live. I'm going to do this stream with you guys. And then I'm going to relax a little bit, take it a little bit easier today. Might take a day off from walking, but I'm doing very well. Doing very well. Lots of good things coming up. So I'm just being an optimistic guy. I can't tell you how excited I am about the 100K. That's going to be really special. So that's coming up next week. That has me feeling good. And I've been telling you guys, I got some good content coming up in January. In January, I'm going to be really excited about some of that content. So yeah, but thank you, Starry Vibes. Hope that you're doing well too. Alberto, hello, I'm Albert from Ghana. New here and excited to learn more on data science. Wonderful. Welcome, Albert. I always love seeing new people. We have new people joining us constantly. So Albert, you are not alone. I appreciate you being able to introduce yourself. New here and excited to learn more on data science. Well, you're in the right place. So Albert, my whole goal here is to give you guys real world data science experience. I am sick and tired of all the bad information that's out there. So I'm here to help as much as I can with real world stuff. So thanks for being here, Albert. Denelson busting out the Spanish on us. Buenos dias, Dennis. How's everyone planning to spend their weekend? Ooh, good question, Denelson. How is everyone planning to spend their weekend? Let us know in the chat if you have anything going on this weekend, or maybe you don't. Maybe you're just saying, hey, I'm just going to Netflix and chill this whole weekend, right? Maybe you're watching the Mike Tyson fight, right? I think it's tonight, which is weird, right? Who has a boxing match on a Friday night, right? So let us know what you're doing this weekend, do you have anything special? Denelson, for me, as I've told you guys before, when I'm doing this, because this is my business, right? One day blends into the other. So the weekends is kind of like just one and the same, right? It's just another day. The only thing I notice is that there are more people outside. So sometimes like I'll avoid going hiking on the weekends because I know there'll be more people out there, and I like to let my dog run around. I don't keep him on a leash when I go hiking. So I might pay attention to the weekends like that, where I'll actually do less things, not more. But otherwise, it's just going to be another weekend of spending time with you guys, preparing for the big stream next week, preparing for my January content, and also preparing for Sunday. So Sunday, I hope you'll make me part of your plans this weekend. On Sunday, we're going to continue our series on building a data science project from the ground up. I know that many of you in the chat have attended. Albert, for someone like you who's new, wants to learn about data science, Sundays are a great stream. This Sunday is part 7, which is crazy. But part 7, you know what? We're going to start making some decisions. We got to start picking a model. We got to start running experiments. So this is a really important week for our progress. So really hope to see you guys. That's part of my weekend plan. So let me know what you're doing this weekend. Let me know if you're watching the Tyson fight. Manoj, are good from Manoj. Namaste, Sir Dennis. All Manoj from Bangalore. And Dennis and all Manoj from Bangalore, India. Welcome, Manoj. Hope you're doing well out there in Bangalore. You're such a great supporter. Really appreciate you being here. Okay, so our new friend on Instagram, Batanzar, says they're from India, Kashmir. Okay, Batanzar, thanks so much for that. I'm going to come back to your question, okay? I know I skipped your question, but I promise I'll come back to it. Let me finish the introductions, okay? Anybody else have questions? You can go ahead and give me, put them in the chat, okay? Rex says, hello from NYC, where it's beautiful and sunny today. Nice. Welcome, Rex. One of my great moderators. Thanks for being here, Rex. I think, I know you've been here before, and I think you go by Lile? Lile Mali says, hi from Phoenix. Welcome. Glad you're here. Phoenix is not too far from me. Can we use the one-on-one calls with you to check next steps in a career, even if I am not in data science yet? Sure, absolutely. So I think Lile is referring to some of the postings I've made where I do offer coaching calls. I do offer career consultations, and then I also do coaching calls for executive clients. But yes, if you want to talk about, hey, I just want to get your perspective as a general hiring manager or corporate experience or whatever, I can definitely help you with that. I will ask for you to include that in the pre-email because if it's something very specialized, then I probably can't help you, and I'm happy to refund your money and all that. Like, for example, if you wanted to go into a medical field, I'm probably not the best person for that. I don't have a lot of experience in that, right? So I'm happy to tell you that and just refund you because I wouldn't be a good call for that. But in other aspects, that you want to talk about, sure, absolutely. Feel free to book a call. The link is in my bio. I appreciate the question. Yep. Leo, our good friend Leo, also from New York City, says, all right, good morning, everyone. For this weekend, I'm planning on celebrating 100K with an influencer that lives in Vegas. I appreciate that, Leo. Thank you. I don't know if it's going to be this weekend. I mean, I suppose it could happen anytime, right? I mean, you never know when a piece of content is going to just go crazy on you. The funny thing about YouTube, guys, well, first of all, let's talk about this from a data science perspective, right? Because we're all data scientists. This entire social media, venture that I've been on for the last 7 months, 6 months, 7 months, has made me doubt the accuracy of these recommendation algorithms and how social media displays things to you. I think there might be some fundamental gaps. And there's a lot of reasons why I say that. But I've noticed a lot of funny little quirky things that really shouldn't happen. But one of the things that's funny is that YouTube is my biggest platform, but it's the only platform that I haven't had at least one piece of content go viral on me. On Instagram, I had some content go viral. I mean, and that's how I got my first 5,000 followers. That also happened to me on X, and I really don't like X anymore, but in one weekend, I went from 1,000 followers to 6,000 followers. I had a piece of content go crazy on me. But I haven't had that happen yet on YouTube. And which is crazy because it's basically, the same content, different formats, right? Arguably, it's a different audience. Some people would say it's the same audience. But it could happen at any time. So I suppose you're right, Leo. It could be this weekend. I mean, that would be a nightmare because I've been preparing for it so much. I would rather have it happen on stream, but yeah, I guess it could happen at any time. Leo says, yes, the Tyson fight, we could do a live commenting on Discord. Leo, I don't have Netflix. If you guys remember, I canceled my Netflix recently. They keep on sending me these bounce back offers, and I think I could join to watch the fight and then get the next month for $7. So I might do that. But I don't have Netflix. I canceled it. I think Netflix did a poor job of handling their legacy customers, because I've had a Netflix account forever. And I was one of their I think it was $6.99 a month that I had. And that's $6.99 a month, no ads. So it was the greatest deal out there, right? I was basically never going to cancel that account, right? But then they basically just told everybody, nope, you're done. You're done. Now you're going to pay $10 and it's going to be with ads. If I'm paying you, I'm not watching ads. I don't know how people put up with that. But if I'm putting up money for this, I'm not watching ads. So I switched to Paramount Plus. I like Paramount Plus. I get it free with my Walmart and my American Express offers and things like that. But yeah, I actually don't have Netflix, so we really can't do a live commenting, unfortunately. Good idea, though. Okay, so Bantasar, thanks for letting us know more about you. I'm from India, Kashmir. You should visit. It's the most beautiful place on earth. Nice, very cool. Look at you selling your city. I love it. Kashmir, that's to the north, right? I think it's to the north of India. Let me know. I want to say it's I want to say it borders other countries, right? It's one of the border regions of India, isn't it? Let me know. I'm always curious about that. I'm doing this from memory, so I'm not claiming to be a geography expert, but I think that's right. Oh gosh, casual economist. I'm back. I lost like 20 pounds being sick. Hello to all. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry to hear that. I hope you're doing well. Um, yeah, you know, if you're comfortable sharing other things, you know, let us know. But geez, you know, glad to hear that you're doing well. Lots of things going around, right, in the fall, lots of flus and things like that. I know for a while, COVID was kind of flaring up in my city, maybe like 5, 6 months ago. So hope you're doing well, casual economist. But thanks for checking in. Michael. Michael is our friend from Lagos, Nigeria. Hello, sir, Dennis, and everyone. Hello, Michael. How are you? Let us, Michael, the question in the chat right now is what you're doing this weekend. Let us know what your weekend plans are. I think Denelson asked us that question. So what are your weekend plans, Michael? Thanks for being here. Leo says, casual. Sorry to hear that. Hope you're feeling well now, my friend. Yeah, absolutely. We're all going to send our good vibes to casual economists. That's terrible. I mean, I'd like to lose 20 pounds, you know, so, you know, maybe I should get sick. But hope you're doing well, casual economist. Leo says, well, most likely I'm right. Yes. You think so? You think it's going to happen this weekend? I don't know. It'd be nice. Leo says, come on, Dennis, just join back for one day. You know, I do have to say that I do enjoy Mike Tyson fights, right? You know, I grew up in the era where, you know, his pay-per-views were a big deal. So it is tempting to say I will watch tonight, but I don't know. Netflix really got to me with the way they handled their customers. I was really disappointed in the way they did that, right? So I don't know if I want to support them anymore. I canceled them. I canceled my Sirius XM. Can't remember who else. That might be it. But what's funny is they keep on sending you these bounce back offers. Like I canceled Sirius XM because it got way too expensive. Sirius XM is ridiculous. For those of you who don't know, that's the satellite radio service that you usually use for your car, right? They were getting up to like $35 a month for radio in my car. I was like, I don't need to pay that, you know? But now they keep on sending me these $5 a month for the next year bounce back offers. And it's like, well, you could have been charging me that the whole time and I would have never left you. But somehow you were charging me $35. So it almost feels more greasy when they send you the offers, because that means they can be offering their service at $5 a month, right? They're not offering that because they're losing money on it. So I was like, so it's just kind of weird to see companies like that. Like, how can you go from 35 to 5 and still be making money? That means that you're, you know, exploiting the other people, right? So I don't know. Starry Vibe says, I'm planning to dedicate this weekend to learning more about robotics since I just started the class. Oh, very cool. I'd really appreciate any advice you have. All right. So let's put that in the chat. That's the next chat question. Let us, first chat question, let us know what you're doing this weekend. Second chat question, Starry Vibes wants some help on robotics. Anybody who wants to do that, give your advice. I'll think about it. Let me think about it, Starry Vibes. Because I have my opinions on robots. I got the all the Elon Musk fanboys all in a rush this week. I actually had my most commented video because of all the Elon Musk robot fans. But I don't know if I have anything to contribute from an academic perspective. But I'll give you some additional thoughts that I haven't shared before. But let's see what the chat says. You know, maybe there's other people in the chat that have taken robotics classes, because I've never studied it from an academic perspective. I've never had a class in robotics or things like that. So yeah, if you guys want to contribute, let us know. Casual Economist says, I'm feeling better, Leo. I'm back to defend Minneapolis from Dennis's slander. Oh, stop it. I'm very, very nice to Minneapolis. Minneapolis is one of the top 72 cities in the United States. So I'm always very respectful of Minneapolis. Okay, so let's calm down there. Leo says, happy to hear that. Yeah. Rex says, funny how streaming was supposed to revolutionize revolutionized TV, but it ended up becoming the same in many respects. Oh, absolutely, Rex. Absolutely. You know where what you reminded me of, Rex, where I see that the most? Do you guys remember when YouTube TV first came out? Because I think YouTube TV is an interesting offering. But do you remember when it first came out? We're going to cut the cord. It's going to be disruptive. We're going to change the industry, blah, blah. $10 a month for YouTube TV. Have you seen the latest pricing on YouTube TV? It's like the same as the cable companies were before. So they only cut the cord and disruptive just to raise prices and charge the same prices as they did. You know what I mean? So it's like, that's what you're reminding me of, Rex. Where they all start off that way, right? But they just end up charging the same prices, right? And same commercials. If anything, they win more because the commercials can be much more highly targeted and they're charging more for the commercials. So they're charging you the same price, you know, making money on that. And then they're charging a premium for the commercials because it's a more targeted audience, right? So I hear you, Rex. It's definitely, you're just changing, you know, one evil for another, right? All right, Michael says, "Sorry to hear that, Casual. Hope you're better now." Yeah, I think we're all hoping that our friend Casual Economist is better now. Bantasar says, "Yes, exactly. It's in North India and it shares borders too." You got you got a crazy memory. You know what? I may be an old guy, but this up here still kind of sort of works. You know, I've always had a relatively good memory. You know, I'm pretty proud of that. I've always had a good memory. For some reason, that memory, well, there's two things that come to mind. And I think, let me mention the first one, because I think the first one will help you. Peter Drucker. If you guys don't know who Peter Drucker is, you should look up his books. In one of his books, Peter Drucker talks about how one of the best things you can do for yourself is figure out how you learn best. Because people learn by hearing, by writing, or by reading, right? That's how basically you take in information. And for me, I'm not always great at the reading, but the hearing and the seeing, for me, is like the best way that I learn. So that's why I like a lot of audiobooks, because if I can hear something in an audiobook, I'll remember it forever. If I read something, you know, I'll remember like 40% of it. But if I hear it, it's in my brain forever. And then I'm also good visually. Like one of the ways that I kind of knew I kind of had an okay memory was like from a very early age, if I see you and then I see you a year later, I can tell you what you were wearing a year ago. Oh yeah, you had this on, and you like these colors and you were wearing this. Like, I'm just really good that way. Like if I see you a year later, I can tell you what you were wearing, you know, like on that day. Like I've always had that skill. So, you know, this kind of sort of still works up here. Lile says, it is IT career advice and checking on moving to data science. I'm in a middle-age crisis. Hey, absolutely, Lily. Feel free to book a call. You are describing a lot of the people that approach me. You know, I can empathize with that middle-age crisis and all that. So yeah, I can absolutely help you with that. I can also help people that are early in their careers. I also, you know, talk a lot with executives, a lot of data executives. But those tend to be two-way conversations because I learn things too. But yeah, absolutely. Feel free to go ahead and book a call, and I'm happy to help you. Leo says, absolutely. Despite being humble, I normally get my predictions on spot. Okay. Well, we'll see. I don't know. I think it's going to be next week, but weekends do tend to be a little bit busier for me, so who knows? I mean, my analytics definitely show that the weekends are busier, to your point, Leo. This weekend, I plan on resting and attending Sunday class. Work has been hectic for me, managing People can be a lot. Okay, cool. Yeah, thanks for coming to the Sunday class, Michael. I know that you're a big fan of those. I know a couple of people in here attend, like Osama and Rex and Leo and Starry Vibes. But yeah, feel free to come on Sunday. I think this week is very pivotal. Oh my gosh, I cannot talk today. It's very pivotal because we're going to be choosing models. We're going to be moving more into the experimentation stage. Like we gotta start forming a good idea, right? So yeah, this weekend's going to be so good. It's going to be a good one. Casual Economist is laughing. I'm assuming you're laughing at my previous statement. I don't know why that would make you laugh. You know, I was trying to give you a peace offering. I was extending my hand to you in peace with the clear recognition that Minneapolis is one of the finest 72 cities in the US. So I don't know why that made you laugh. You know, here I am trying to better myself, trying to show you a more humble and better version of myself, and recognizing the importance of Minneapolis to the US economy and tourism. I was letting you know that it is just one of the top 72 cities out there. So I don't know why that made you laugh. You know, I think that reflects more poorly on you than it does of me. But, you know, let the record show that I did try to extend my hand in peace. And the Godfather only extends his hand one time. Osama, our good friend Osama from Satat says, hello, sir. I hope everything is going well. Everything is going really well. Everything is going. Any day we get to talk about Minneapolis is a great day, Osama. Rex says, yeah, how you remember who's already been in chat and where they're from impresses me every time. Hey, that's the job. That's the job, guys. I mean, that's the job of being a content creator. But yeah, geography I can always remember for some reason. You know, maybe that's why I like traveling so much. But yeah, you know, I'm all right. You know, I'm an old guy, but this still works. This still kind of sort of works. Oh boy, I don't even remember what I've eaten yesterday. Yeah, you know, some people have that, right? Like the short-term memory problems. But I don't know. I've always had a memory like that. Just crazy. Rex says, Leo Halfeld, so humble of you. Yeah, Leo's a very, very humble guy, right? And I love how he constantly reminds us how humble he is. The most humble people always remind you how humble they are. Leo, haha, that's as real as a $3 bill, folks. Top 72. You know, guys, it's not easy being a content creator. And I find it offensive when people laugh at my statement. Because I'm trying to just keep the harmony, keep the peace in the chat, and just trying to pay my respects to the thriving, wonderful metropolis of Minneapolis. There's only 71 other cities I'd rather visit before Minneapolis. So really, it's like at the top, right? Like top 72? Come on, guys. Like I'm being respectful here, so please, no more jokes in the chat. I'm trying to be respectful to the wonderful people of Minneapolis. Leo says, I've learned from the best. Oh, stop it. I try to be humble. It's not easy though, right? Seriously, I mean, being a humble person is not always easy, right? But it is a good trait to have, right? We should all try to work on that. But you know, that can be a double-edged sword, right? It's hard to be humble and also like overwhelmingly successful, right? Most successful people are not always the most humble, right? I mean, most billionaires out there are underneath the surface extremely vicious people, right? So it's a double-edged sword, but I appreciate that all of us are striving for that. We all should do that, right? Batanzar says, you look more fit currently than your profile picture. Did you just call me fat? Guys, I think the new person just called me fat. What the hell? This is turning into a weird chat day. What the heck, guys? All right, let me go back to Bantazar's previous question because I'm sorry I skipped it. But I was trying to do all the introductions, and we got started talking about the world's best cities like Minneapolis. So Baltazar says, what are the most important topics to prepare for interviews for top companies? Okay, Baltazar. So let's explore this together, okay? What is a top company? What is a top company? I guess it's 3 questions that I want to ask of you. What is a top company? Why do you want to work for them? And why do you want to prepare for those interviews? So give me more info. I want to know the answer to those 3 questions. Let me know the answer to that. Why? What is a top company to you, and why? Why do you want to work for them, and why are you preparing for those interviews? Like, what is the purpose for preparing for those interviews? All right. Lile says, I just scheduled a call. Thank you. Oh, thank you so much, Lile. I really appreciate that. Yeah, I just saw it come through on my calendar. So yeah, look forward to speaking with you. It looks like we're gonna do it later today. Great. Sure. Really appreciate that. Really looking forward to chatting with you. So thank you so much. Again, guys, if you're interested in a consulting call on your career, on the path trajectory that you're on, you can find the links in my bio. I offer that as a consulting service. You're welcome to schedule a call with me, and I'll spend time with you, and we can kind of work things out. So thank you so much for that, Lila. Really appreciate it. Thank you. Okay, so Leo says, no, I think it's the opposite, that you look slim compared to your thumbs, which is true. Yeah, I get it, Leo. I get it. I'm just trying to have fun. I'm just trying to have fun with the new person. But yeah, I mean, that picture was taken at a corporate picture day. And I was probably about 100 pounds heavier then than I am now. I've probably lost about 100 pounds since that picture. Maybe a little bit more than that. Because I remember in that picture, I was about 435, 440 pounds, something in that range. And right now I'm like 325, something like that, like under 330 right now. So yeah, it's about 100 pounds difference in that picture. And I know I need a new one, right? But it's very hard to take a portrait picture by yourself. And I asked my nephew to take one of me, but it's hard to get our schedules lined up and stuff, right? Because they're in school and all that. But I do need a new picture like that, to your point. But yeah, that picture is about 100 pounds ago. Michael says, where did your beard go, Dennis? Always wanted to ask. When the girlfriend goes, the beard goes. Yeah, so that's the answer. That's the short answer to that one, Michael. It's actually difficult to always shave every day because, I shave every morning for you guys, right? Because my hair grows fast. I can grow a beard I can grow a beard in a week. But yeah, it's a pain in the butt to always be shaving. So maybe I'll grow a beard back, but if the girlfriend liked the beard and she's no longer around, then the beard goes. That's my personal rule. A man's got to have a code. Actually, he's already looking at someone else. You think so? You think it's that different? I mean, I've lost the weight since then, and then I also, got new glasses since then. Although I know I'm not wearing glasses in that picture, right? So, combination of all of those things. Leo says, "Oh wow, congratulations." Yeah, yeah, it's been about 100 pounds difference since then. So yeah, it's very different, very different. Wow, Dennis, congrats, keep it up. Thank you, I appreciate that, and I definitely do want to keep it up. I'm doing a lot more walking. I no longer eat any processed foods. That helps. I've cut out all processed foods. Yesterday I went to a restaurant. I went to In-N-Out Burger, for those of you that know the West Coast. I went to In-N-Out for the first time. Like, that was my first time in a restaurant in like 2 months, maybe longer. No, longer, like 4 months. Because I've been making all my meals at home. You know, I don't buy any processed foods. I don't buy microwave foods anymore. And doing the keto lifestyle. I do very little sugars, very little carbohydrates, all that stuff. Leo says RFK Jr. is going to be proud of you. Yeah, you know what? I don't like talking politics on this channel, but I do have to agree with some of his underlying fundamentals. I think a lot of food companies are doing some pretty insane stuff. So I do hope that he's sincere in changing some of those food policies, because some of the ingredients that are in our foods, yeah, very scary. Very scary. We should all be very cautious. But yeah, I'm trying to do that. Just the thought I've put in my mind is that when I go shopping, I don't buy food. I buy ingredients to make my food. Right? So I try to buy the least processed stuff possible. Like, guys, I don't even buy mayonnaise anymore. Like, I make my own mayonnaise. Like, that's kind of dumb, right? But like, that's what I do. Like, I don't buy food, I buy ingredients for food. So that's helped me a lot. Denelson says, I notice you eat soups often. How often do you prepare your soup? Just once a week. That's like my Sunday tradition. I do make a cabbage soup. But you know what, guys? I mostly do that as kind of a wind down for the Sunday sessions, because the Sunday sessions take a lot out of me, right? Like I put a lot of work into those, and at the end of it, I'm drained. So I like to just finish up with you guys, 2-3 hours, whatever it takes, and then just calm down, watch my Netflix. Tulsa King has new episodes on Sunday, so I like watching Tulsa King. I turn on my Paramount Plus and just tune out the world and just eat my soup, and it's just a nice way to relax, and then I can, recharge and then continue with the rest of my day. Yeah, but Danielson, I do that on Sundays. I make my cabbage soup on Sundays. Leo says it is. I have a long beard already also. You're talking about you're talking about how much of a pain in the butt it is to shave. It really is. But at the same time, Leo, one of the worst things I ever did was I was working at IBM. And we have, as a fundraiser here in the US, there's something called No Shave November, where men will intentionally not shave, and then they will donate the money from the razors and all that to a charity, right? It's a good cause. I did that at IBM. And I was very strict about it, didn't shave. And in 1 month, in one November, I had like the biggest beard, and I hated it. I so hated it. It was partially my fault because I didn't train it. I didn't take care of it, because that's part of the No Shave November, right? That you don't spend money on any beard products. So I remember that I hated it so much that on the last Friday of the No Shave November, I literally went from the office to a barbershop and said, take it all off. I was so fed up with it. I hate having a big bushy beard. So I might have a beard again, but I like to trim it, keep it really close, because a big beard is also, a pain. So, you can't win, Leo. You can't win. Let's see. So let me stick with the question from Starry Vibes. So Leo says to Starry Vibes, about the robotic intro, Arduino is always a good start. Okay. Leo says, well, me and Rex also do that as New Yorkers. Okay, you're talking about buying your ingredients. Yeah, that's a good thing. Cook our own meals, I meant. Yeah. Well, you have to because it's so expensive in New York, right? But like I said, even then though, like when I'm buying my stuff, like I'm not buying mayonnaise. I'm making my own mayonnaise. I'm not buying like, egg bites. I make my own egg bites. Like I'm not sure I trust these food companies anymore. Okay, but going back to the helping starry vibes, Arduino is always a good start. Yeah, Leo, I think that's generally good advice. But Starry Vibes, you'd have to tell us more about your robotics class. Because Arduino is robotics, but are you talking more like physical robotics or like Android robots or like manufacturing robotics? Like it seems like there's a difference, right? Like you probably wouldn't use Arduino for like a manufacturing robot, I don't think. Right? So let us know. Let us know. Leo said, well, he said he just started. Yeah, I mean, it's a good place to start. Don't get me wrong, Leo. I love your answer. But I think we'd also just need more information, because, and also I'm assuming you mean Arduino as like your central processor, but you'd probably need other components for Arduino to physically do something, right? But maybe you don't need it to physically do something depending on how you're defining robot, right? So maybe if Starry Vibes is still in the chat, they can give us more information. Okay, so let's go back to help our new friend on Instagram, Batanzar. So Batanzar says, Google, Boston Consulting Group, McKinsey, JP Morgan, Chase. These are the companies in my view at the top. Okay, cool. And then they also added something else. Where was it? Okay, they're doing it for cross-industry exposure growth and exposure more over salaries. Okay. All right. Okay, Bantazar. So here's why I asked those questions. The long time viewers of my channel are kind of already going to see where I'm going with this. But the biggest thing I want to tell you is it's a mistake to prepare for interviews. You're not supposed to prepare for interviews. You're supposed to prepare for the job, right? Your goal should never be to pass an interview. Your goal is to be the best data scientist you can possibly be. So that's really kind of where I would encourage you to think about where you want to shape yourself and say, well, here, this is what I really want to be doing, right? So that's where I would encourage you to think about, well, how, where is it that I see myself as a data scientist, my practice of data science? And then what are the steps that I need to do to become a good data scientist? Not a good worker, not a good Boston Consulting candidate, but a good data scientist in that field that interests me. So you might say, well, I kind of like NLP. Okay. So that's good. But realize, one, you like NLP, not just NLP at Google, right? Because lots and lots of companies do NLP, right? So what are the steps that you need to take to be the best NLP scientist that you can? Now think about that. The NLP scientist that you can. That's usually not preparing for interviews. That's just, doing your own study, your own research, your own development of whatever, you know about NLP now, or whatever the gaps are, or whatever it is that you want to do in NLP, right? So it's really more about that, right? It's about how do you want to see yourself as an NLP scientist, right? And then what are the personal development steps that you can take to get there? Do I need to work in a different language? I mean like cultural language, not programming language, right? Do I need to look more at LLMs? Do I need to revise some of the basics? Do I need a bigger token dictionary to work from, right? When you start asking those questions, now you're doing the work of a data scientist, of an NLP data scientist. Now you're developing your skills. Now you're bettering yourself. And when you do that, now you're ready to say, okay, I'm ready for the next steps in my career. And then everything else, the interviews, the jobs, comes a lot easier after that. Because guess what? At that point, you're a bona fide data science specialist. You're better than you were yesterday. You've improved yourself, right? And I promise you that that will come across in interviews without you trying, right? So that's where I would encourage you to kind of have a little bit of a mind shift. And, you know, the interview is not the goal. Being a good data scientist is the goal. Being a working, qualified professional in the field is the goal, right? I mean, that's kind of what you want, right? So let me know what you think about that. Batanzar says, I realize I made a hurtful comment about your appearance. I deeply regret it. No. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I was just I'm just giving you a hard time, right? But yeah, I realize that there's a massive difference in my picture. Like I said, I just need somebody to take a new picture of me. It's very hard to do it by yourself, you know? I mean, you can try, but it kind of looks lame, right? Doing it by yourself. But you know, maybe I'll find somebody locally to do it. But you know, it's just a good picture of me. Like, I like that picture, you know? When you do those corporate picture days, they usually bring in pretty good photographers. So I really enjoyed that picture of myself. So I used it. But I do realize that I look different and I've lost weight. So I appreciate that you're here. Don't take anything I say on stream seriously. I'm just having a good time and adding it for entertainment, okay? But Bantazar, I hope that my previous advice helped you, okay? Work on becoming a professional, not a good interviewer or interviewee, okay? Starry Vibe says, we started working with Arduino and also physical robots. Cool. Marcine, welcome back. I'm pretty sure you've been here before. But I'm not sure what your comments relate to, relativity and HR. Marcine, help us understand how you're doing. But welcome back, okay? All right, so helping our friend Starry Vibes again. Says, that's great, Starry Vibes. I'd recommend starting small systems and then scaling. Then adding some AI in it can be pretty useful depending on what your goals are. Yeah, Leo. So it sounds like you were right about the Arduino side. Maybe we should do a series on Arduino at some point. That could kind of be cool, right? Yeah, that could be fun to do, like an Arduino series. Maybe we'll think about that sometime. But yeah, I mean, it sounds like you're on the right track with Arduino there, Starry Vibes. And then the physical robots is, I'm sure it's like, you know, similar, but maybe like a more larger scale, right? Denelson says, I have a question. Maybe it will sound like nonsense, but is there a way we can use data science or any of its subfields in psychiatry, more specifically in their rehab centers? Walked past one yesterday while walking and curiosity took hold. Okay, very cool. Very cool. Denelson, first of all, congratulations on developing that creativity in your brain. I think that's an extremely important part of data science, highly overlooked, right? So the exercise that you just described about, oh, well, how would I do that? That's very valuable. And it's also valuable to think about those next steps, right? So the things that come to mind to me when I first think about something like that, and we'll relate it back to psychiatry, but I hope that all of you can kind of understand the framework. But the first thing I always tell myself is, okay, When I think of a recovery center like that, there are going to be two sides. There's going to be the patient side and there's going to be the business side. That's the first separation I want to make out, because there's probably data science applications in both of those. What can I do for the business? What can I do for the patient side? Right? And then within the patient side, there's probably different goals, right? Do you want to identify patients better? Do you want to treat them better? Do you want to predict their recovery path a little bit better? Do you want to prepare better like aftercare type of plans, right? Because maybe they do well in the center, but then once they're out in the real world, it's difficult, right? So I kind of think about that, right? Because those are four distinct models, right? Like four completely distinct efforts. And then I think about the business side. Okay, on the business side, what can I do? Well, I can do something around employees, right? My hiring. I can do something around employee evaluations. I can do things around my billing, right? They got to bill somebody, right? They're a business. They got to have income coming in, right? So what does the billing and revenue look like? Can I do something around my marketing, right? Is there a way to use data science in my marketing, right? And there's probably a model for those four things too, right? So now you have 8 different areas, 8 distinct areas in 2 parts of that business, right? So from there, I start picking one of those. Okay, let me think about this aftercare, right? How do I take better care of patients once they leave my facility, right? Okay, well, there's research out there on that, right? So I'd want to do that research. Plenty of white papers out on that. Okay, from there, what data do I need? Okay, well, I mean, I have historical patient data. I'd have to have follow-ups to think about, maybe run like a survey, like the things that help them, later on. I'd have to identify my patients that are doing really well after treatment, and then some that aren't doing so well after treatment, right? Because that's like my 2 binary categories, right? You either did well or you didn't do well. And if I can identify those 2 categories, guess what? That's the start of an algorithm, right? Because now I can those are my predictive classes, right? I can tell you, on the day you leave, I can tell you your probability of landing in the did well versus the not did well, right? 6 months down the road, a year down the road, 2 years down the road. Because now you have that time element into it, right? You'd have to. So this is where I start thinking like, okay, that's all the data I'm going to need. I'm going to need to survey these people. Okay, well, what are my inputs? Well, how long were they in the recovery center? Why did they come in? How old are they? What's their gender? Do they have family support? Do they have kids? So on and so on, right? So that's how I start kind of developing things out. Like it kind of like spiders out from my brain like that. Like, okay, business, health. Here's the health side. Here's the possible categories. This is the data I would need. And you get the ball rolling like that, right? So I'm answering your question in terms of psychiatry, but I think you can see the pattern there, right? But that's what I would think about, Denelson. I mean, I know I gave you a pretty long answer, and I'm sorry for rambling on, but that's how my mind goes, right? Like I can just think about like the potential different models, and then you can quickly start saying, oh, okay, for that model, I need this and this data. Ooh, but that data is going to be super hard to get. Let me go back. Okay, yeah. This is a viable model. I think I can do something here, right? So that's how I think about it. Okay, so Marcin is clearing up that he was trying to help our new friend Bantazar. So Marcin says relativity for the big companies, that it's all relative. Okay, I can see that. Why do you want to work there? Atmosphere, they are just stunning. HR, they're just kicking off their jobs. Okay. Atmosphere counts, but atmosphere, doesn't pay the bills, right? And the third is why preparing for the interviews. I guess top company, because it's a top company. Okay. All right, Marcin, sorry for the rush. I'm in a train. Okay, Marcin, I appreciate that you're still listening to me. It's crazy where people are consuming my content. So I appreciate that you listened to me on the train. I think I kind of get where you're coming from in your commentary. So thank you for that. Michael says, I would fly to the U.S. to take a picture of you, Dennis. I appreciate that. Thank you. It's very hard to do by yourself. Right? I mean, I have like a good camera and all that, but you know, lining it up and getting the right lights and all that, it's not always easy to do that. Marcine says, hello, everybody. Hello to you too, Marcine. Thanks so much for joining us again. And thank you for joining us from the train. Yeah, you know, I guess in my mind's eye, I always imagine all of you sitting at a desk just like I am, you know, listening to me, watching on a big screen on YouTube. But yeah, I suppose a lot of you are on your mobile, or you're in a different environment, or you're on the move or something. Kind of crazy to think that you guys are watching me like that. So, but you know, I appreciate you guys nonetheless. Leo says, yes, it's a good start and love the Arduino series idea. Yeah, Leo, we might do something around Arduino. So for those of you that don't know what we're talking about, on Sundays, we do a longer series. We're in the middle of a series of building a project from the ground up. That's been a lot of fun. We still have a little ways to go on that. That's probably going to take us through the new year. And after that, we are 100% going to do a neural network series. There's clearly a demand for that, a need for that. But Leo, beyond that, yeah, I think it would be cool to do an Arduino series. So maybe I'll look into that. It could be cool. Yeah, I mean, I don't think I have an Arduino now. I mean, I might have one packed away somewhere, but it would be old, so I'd probably get a new one. But an Arduino series would be very cool. Manu, we usually ask people to introduce themselves. Let us know where you're from. Let us know your city, state, country, province. Okay, thank you. Leo's helping out Starry Vibes. Everything that involves automation from physical objects like object identification and classification. We're turning on and off your lights using Arduino. Then scale to adding more objects, integrating with toys or a house project. It's really fun. Cool. Yeah, I'm on board with that, Leo. You know, I'll tell you guys, I tried to find this video, but I think it was taken down from YouTube for various reasons, unfortunately. But a couple years ago, I saw this great video talking about robots, and it specifically was talking about robots when Tesla was having a hard time getting its factory up and running with robots, right? If you remember, you know, Tesla had said that they're like, you know, 100% automated, you know, robots build their Teslas, blah, 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 right? But they had a very hard time running that. And this video talked to a robotics expert who wasn't a big fan of Tesla. And he said something that got me really thinking differently about robots. Do you know the name that robot experts give to robots? There's a name that they kind of have among themselves. Does anybody know what name they have for robots? So they call the robots Bobs. Like the name Bob in the US is popular. They call the robots Bobs. But it's an acronym. And the acronym is Blind One-Arm Builders. That's what they call the robots, Blind One-Arm Builders, Bobs. And the guy said, you know, in this video, he said, look, I'm gonna close your eyes, I'm gonna put something over your eyes, and then I'm gonna give you a screwdriver in your hand. And you don't know what kind of screwdriver it is or where it's facing or anything else. And then I'm gonna ask you to screw in a bolt that's like 2 feet in front of you. And he says, now think about all the instructions I have to give you in order for you to properly screw in that bolt. I have to precisely tell you how to raise your hand, which section, how far forward to go, and then how to place the screwdriver in the bolt, and then how to turn the bolt, how hard to turn the bolt, and how fast to turn the bolt. And then I got to give you all the instructions to get you all the way back and into your position to go get another tool, right? That's essentially what you're doing when you're programming a robot. And it got me thinking about that, about all those steps, all the different tools, all the different angles and directions and everything else that's needed to do that. Like when he said that, I was like, man, that's true. You know, like robots are hard, right? Like when you think about all those different instructions and precision and power and things like that you have to figure out, like they really are blind one-arm builders, right? Like how do you train a blind one-arm inanimate object to do that? Like that's a lot, right? So when he said that, it really got me thinking about exactly how difficult or how challenging robotics can be, right? So I want you guys to think about that, because I think that that's part of what makes the physical robots so difficult, right? So, you know, I'm seeing a little bit more in the chat about the Arduino and kind of like the home automation side of that and things like that. And that's definitely cool, right? There's definitely a place for that. Home automation is a big thing. Arduino is a big thing. But when you start thinking about like the physical robots in a factory, in some sort of like industrial usage, kind of hard, right? And then this relates back to the humanoid robot video that I made. If you guys haven't seen that, please go ahead and view it. It's become my most commented video. For me, you know, I want to see robots used for some bigger benefit for humanity. And, you know, if you guys are familiar with like fast fashion factories, you know, in many third world countries, they are terrible working conditions, right? So I want to see robots that can work in fast fashion factories. That's kind of like the use case that I have in my mind. So think about all the fine motor skills that are required for that. And then you still have to go through the training process that I just mentioned to you. And there is a massive difference between training a robot to use a big screwdriver in a simple hand versus teaching a robot or creating a robot to have the fingers and wrist and skill to be able to run like a sewing machine or a cutting machine or something else, right? Like that's like a whole different use case. Like there's a massive canyon in software and hardware development between those two robots, right? So Starry Vibes, I love that you asked the question because robotics I think is interesting. But you know, it all depends on the application. All depends on, you know, how all the things are carried out, right? Leo says creativity is a muscle that gets stronger once you understand what you're mastering. Yeah, you know, Leo, I like the way you put that. I like the way you put that. Pretty sure you're going to get more amazing ideas for projects. Yeah, Starry Vibes. You know, you seem pretty smart, so I'm sure you'll get plenty of ideas. Starry Vibe says, I've actually tried turning lights on and off using Arduino, and it was a great learning experience. Very cool. All right, I'll give the other projects a try. Thanks, Leo. Yeah. I love the community helping each other. So I think you're getting good advice there, Starry Vibes. Leo says, well, we can just hire someone to do a voiceover in our Arduino system and call the news. We're going to be as successful as Elon. Oh, that's hilarious. Yeah, so if you guys don't know, Leo is referring to the allegations that Elon Musk and Tesla faked a lot of their robot demos. You know, what was it, 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago? I think there's a lot of truth to that. But yeah, lots of fake stuff happening in robotics also. Definitely do not discount that, because lots of fake stuff is happening in robotics. Denelson says, amazing response. Thank you so much. Never apologize for the rambling. Oh, I appreciate that, Denelson. But yeah, you know, coming back to Denelson's question when he asked about how do you develop ideas for, you know, different things that you see. Once again, guys, I love that Denelson is thinking about things like that, and I encourage you to do the same. I had a video that no one watched because it was one of my very, very first videos about creativity in data science. And I talk about that, about how you should be walking around your city Like, how would I map the number of blue cars that are on the street right now? How would I, what does the data model look like if I wanted to do work on all these buildings? I need to know the building height, the number of windows, the number of entrances. Like, what's the data model look for that? I encourage you to do that because, you don't have to come up with an answer for everything, but it's a form of constant practice of being a data scientist. So that's kind of what Denelson was describing. Hey, I walked by this clinic and I thought, what can I do here? Really good practice for you guys. Really good practice. I want to encourage you guys to keep on doing that because that's how you develop those skills and you're learning. You're kind of, you're in a very small way, you're working on your craft when you're able to say, okay, yeah, I have no interest in airplanes, but I thought about how I could help airplane repairs. And, I came up with a couple creative ideas, That's okay, right? You may never use those. You don't have to write an article about them, but you're developing your craft. You're developing the practice of seeing the world as numbers, right? Because eventually you should be able to come up with like the world's just a big model in numbers and different things you can model and predict and categorize, right? And when you can get to that, wow, you're a data scientist, right? Like it just comes out naturally. So really hope that's been helpful. Really good discussion today, guys. Thanks so much for the great questions. So again, Sunday, you want to join us for the series, please do that. Sometime next week, we're also gonna hit 100K. So please come join me for that. Who knows? Maybe you'll be joining me this weekend. Leo thinks it's this weekend, so we'll see. But really appreciate all of you. Really thank you for the great discussion. And as always, lots of craziness happening in the world. So please take care of yourselves and take care of your families. And I'll see you next time.